Group A taking to the grid for race 2 with Jonathan JJ Clements on pole, Martin Tolley alongside. Row 2, Charlie Charman and Andrew Coombs, then Clive Powers and James Harris, Will Blackwell Chambers and Darren Lewis on row 4. Fifth row, Sam Smith with Alan Henderson, then Oliver Allwood and Roger Chesno. Chris Greatorex on row 7, next to him is Gary Hufford, then it's Paul Bishop and Joshua Jackson. Jerry Horolek and Jason Greatorex on row 9, then it's the drivers coming up from 1B, Simon Goddard and Jake Simpson, Lewis Field and Matthew Tasker, Richard Collins completing the grid in car number 5. Away they go, it looks like a great start. JJ Clements gets away well. We're on board again with James Harris in this one, who's being passed left, right and centre, and it looks like a good start from Alan Henderson, who gets away. Look how physical it is as they go through the first turn into Farm, but it's JJ Clements who leads here, picked up the most points for race number 1. Look how crowded this is, superb stuff. Gary Hufford coming through in 45, 105, Roger Chesno goes wide. Jason Greatorex as well, the Cardiff-based driver in the mix as well. 4 wide, this is incredible stuff. Well, this is a job to call. 37, James Harris is there, on board with James. Down the hanger straight for the first time, a major sort out on these opening laps in the BRSCC MX-5 Championship. They've all had the chance to weigh each other up in the first race. Conditions a lot drier, and we're expecting the lap times to tumble here. 31, Sam Smith made great progress in race number 1. He's looking to try and continue that here in race 2. But it's Clements out front. Charlie Charman in second, always quick in the early stages seemingly. 23, Martin Tolley is there as well. Andrew Coombs in yellow is up the front as well. As I said, we need to keep our eyes open for the Group B drivers coming through the field as well. Well, being a bit drier than it was earlier on should make conditions a little bit easier. Certainly coming out of club, which is the corner we did a few seconds back with our onboard camera car number 37, James Harris. But out front, Charlie Charman is taking the battle to Jonathan JJ Clements. Side-by stuff going on here. Alan Henderson is there. 36, Andrew Coombs involved as well in yellow, and a good run in the later stages of race number 1 in the wet. You can see just how much quicker things are in this group. Now remember, in race number 1, the fastest lap of the race was a 1:34. We're very nearly 10 seconds a lap quicker here, so the speeds are knocking on the door of 80 miles an hour, and you can see how much quicker it is. The conditions are dry and everybody's starting to get stuck in. Chris Greatorex looks down the inside of the yellow car. He goes through, makes the position, but out front we've still got a battle on for the lead. JJ Clements soaking up the pressure. Charlie Charman in second position. Gary Hufford in 45. Charman still working hard. Simon Goddard in 46, the red car with the wide white stripe. Chasing hard. Jason Greatorex and Sam Smith with Darren Lewis at the back of this group. Those guys dicing for the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th position. So Sam Smith looking down the inside, but Simon Goddard is in the mix there as well, and Charlie Charman gets it all sideways, and there's contact with Gary Hufford as they come into Vale. Charlie Charman is going to be absolutely furious about that. It's perhaps a symptom of very close racing, but Charman, who was running second, just got caught and he drops down the order. Greatorex and Smith hard at work, on board with James Harris in 37, currently just in 11th position, working hard into Abbey Corner for the driver of car number 37. see wherever you are on track, there's plenty of racing going on. And Darren Lewis certainly trying to put the pressure on James Harris. 7 years apart age-wise, the pair, with Lewis the senior of the two. This is the view from James Harris again. Down hanger straight. Into top gear, we'll have a quick look in the mirror, but you're going to go back up towards the scrap for second position. And it's Will Blackwell-Chambers back into second, but this man, Jonathan JJ Clements, who is out front. Here's the scrap for second. Blackwell-Chambers back there in blue. Martin Tolley in third position with Alan Henderson in fourth. We're well inside the last quarter of this very, very physical, very fast BRSCC MX-5 Championship race, the second one of the year. Looks like JJ Clements is going to go, but we've got a challenge on for second place. Martin Tolley, fastest lap and second position in race one, goes into second place again, and following him through is Alan Henderson, and Blackwell-Chambers must be wondering what he has to do to get that second position and hang on to it. Is he going to fight back? Well, it looks like Alan Henderson now is on the offensive to try and take second place in the 43 car. Sorry, Will Blackwell-Chambers in the 43 car. Alan Henderson in the 3 car is on the offensive to try and take second. Here they come out of Chapel. Blackwell-Chambers back in fourth, but he's got no pressure behind, so maybe he could ace this in the closing stages. There is JJ Clements, who's got that very, very healthy lead. They pan out, they look 3 wide, they're not quite like that because of the camera angle, but Blackwell-Chambers is looking up the inside of Martin Tolley, who takes a confident sweep to maintain second position here on the international circuit at Silverstone. Alan Henderson in second, but Jonathan Clements, superb racing from him. He's pulled away, he's got his head down, he hasn't made any mistakes at all. Comes out of Club Corner as we go back on board with James Harris. Simon Goddard is past, James Harris goes through, but Goddard repays the compliment. Goddard had a super dominant victory in race 1 for Group B, got himself promoted back into Group A as a result, and is there ahead of James Harris. That's 10th and 11th place. So is James Harris going to be able to break into the top 10 here? Through Abbey and into Farm, back with the scrap with Charlie Charman, who's got himself back on the tail end of Will Blackwell-Chambers. We'll see whether he can go through. This is all changed round again because you've got Alan Henderson in second position. Charman's trying to close in. Looks in his mirror. Probably the best place on the circuit here to just ascertain where everybody is. It's a long, long run, down hanger straight. But here's the battle for second. Tolley in red is challenging Alan Henderson, who's the fastest man on track. That goes back to lap 10. Just around about 2/3 distance, lap 10. But Jonathan Clements is clear. He's over 6 seconds clear of the scrap for second place. Comes out of Club Corner neatly, tidily, doesn't use too much curb. He's going to avoid perhaps any slippage there. Here's the scrap for second. Alan Henderson is there. Martin Tolley looks over and takes second position. Alan Henderson second, but Jonathan Clements has won it. There is the onboard from Charlie Charman, who was down in 5th place. Some good handy points for him, but I think he's going to feel perhaps he was robbed of second position with that little bit of contact going down into Vale. Here's the result. Clements wins from Alan Henderson, who gets fastest lap. Martin Tolley in third from Will Blackwell-Chambers. Charlie Charman next from Gary Hufford. Roger Chesno and Jason Greatorex 7th and 8th from Sam Smith, and Simon Goddard in 10th.
Okay, Martin, you must be happy with the race weekend.
Yeah, ecstatic. As I say, it's a huge thank you to creative2touchdesign.co.uk for their help, support and sponsorship, and to Chase Engines. Phenomenal weekend. The engine's been strong all weekend. I have to say that we suffered in the second race in reality because we left a slightly damp setting on the rear shocks, and that caused an awful lot of oversteer. And I have to agree with Alan, it could have been anybody's race between second and 6th. We'll just wait for the noisy scamps to go.
It's always the way with the Mazdas, though. You get so many clusters of really, really strong competition throughout the track.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's really close racing. It's close, it's budget racing, it's an excellent form of racing. There's a lot of gentlemen on that track. I made a few errors today. I have to go back and apologise to Gary Hufford, car 45, who we have got a camaraderie and a bit of a friendship going on, and I have to say I probably caused him a bit of a trial round the one bend, so I think I better go back and say sorry to him. But all in all, fantastic weekend, really enjoyed it, and a great weekend's racing.
Alan, race 2, much happier result for you?
Yeah, definitely. The first race didn't go to plan at all. Got the setup slightly wrong. Really quick at the start of the race when it was a little bit wetter. As it dried just slightly, the car just did not work from about half distance. It was a real handful. People were driving around us, underneath us, practically over the top of us. And then I got a 5-second penalty, and I think it was a bit frustration over driving. So that, I think I was 7th, 6th on the road, something like that. But the 5-second penalty knocked us back to 10th. So I started 10th in that race, and obviously you managed to get up to 2nd. So.
It's amazing, you seem to get through quite a lot of people, and there was a lot of competition out there as well for those early places.
Yeah, I think until the last couple of laps, I think it could have been anywhere between 2nd and 6th. And it was anybody's guess who was going to come across the line at the front of that pack. It was just swapping so many times. I can't actually remember what happened. I'll have to watch the video footage back, but it was entertaining, very entertaining.
John, clean sweep for the whole race weekend.
Quite surprised really. I wasn't expecting that in the first race of the season. But yeah, really happy with it. The car's driving brilliantly, so yeah.
You're a big fan of Silverstone, I suppose?
It's not my favourite track. Donington's actually my favourite, but yeah, in the dry, I don't mind Silverstone.
What were the conditions like today? I mean, they're pretty changeable weather.
Yeah, the wind is causing a lot of problems on the straight, but it was perfectly dry this last race. But yeah, it's a lot better.